our election, Georgia, was stolen from us. That's right. Right down the road from here with a water main break. That's right. And then it all changed. And we watched the Democrats shut this country down and destroy our freedoms over a virus that came from China.
Yep. I mean, you've gotten used to seeing Marjorie Taylor Greene in her full insane glory. She's so extreme now. Even the House Freedom Caucus kicked her out. All right. So she just can't stop spreading lies, smearing good people, and not doing her job. In that clip, that's her most recent appearance at Trump's latest hate rally in Atlanta, Georgia. And she managed to do the whole MTG Liapalooza in just a minute, right? She completely lied about the election, the 2020 election. It was not stolen in Atlanta, Georgia. Everything she talked about is fake. It did not happen. The water main break didn't lead to more votes being counted against the. It's just she can't stop lying about that election. And on top of that, she seems to forget who was the president during the lockdown phase of the pandemic, which was Donald J. Trump. But let's not let truth get in the way of a good Marjorie Taylor Greene rant. I know we're all sick of her. I'd love to see her leave Congress. So her district has a great candidate this time, and we're really fortunate to have a guy. Shawn Harris is a retired Army Brigadier General. Now he's a small beef farm owner right there, grass-fed beef right there in Northwest Georgia. And he decided to take on one of the worst of the MAGA crew and all they have to offer. Well, I've heard about Shawn for a while. I've been dying to get in the hot seat. So he's joining us today. As always, I am Fred Wellman, host of On Democracy, right here on the MeidasTouch Network. And this is In the Hot Seat with Shawn Harris. Shawn, man, welcome to the MeidasTouch Network. I've been dying to talk to you for a while. It's so good to connect with you finally.
Well, Fred, I'm excited to be here with you also.
So look, man, you did 40 years in the military between the Marines and the Army, retired quietly to a dairy farm, for cows up there in beautiful Northwest Georgia. What would drive you to throw that away and run for Congress against one of the most difficult members of Congress in the country?
Well, I tell you, first of all, dairy farming is extremely hard. I'm on the beef side of this thing, but what I would tell you is this. After doing all those years in the military, I was blessed to do it. Outstanding soldiers across the board from all the different branches of service. Came home, and we bought this farm. And as I was actually out there putting up fence and all those kind of things, some fellow veterans, because veterans help each other. Some fellow veterans came up to the house and was helping me put up fence, and they actually said to me, "Hey, Shawn, man, you still got a lot of energy. You should run for Congress." And I said, "Come on, guys, you know better than that." But we kept talking about it, and over a period of time, they asked me to run. But when they asked me to run, believe it or not, they actually wanted me to run as a Republican. And I said to them, "Guys, I'm not a Republican. I'm a Democrat," thinking the conversation would be over. And they immediately said, "Hey, that's fine. We'll still vote for you." And that's when I realized that we potentially had an opportunity to bring about change, because veterans, Republicans are that upset with Marjorie Taylor Greene to say, "Look, let's try to get somebody else in here." And that's how I ended up getting in this race.
Well, it's a different time, and I think a lot of people are craving kind of decency. And of course, she is one of the most difficult members of Congress. She's not real focused on her people, and along those lines, Northwest Georgia is a unique place. I had the opportunity to spend a lot of quality time in your district last cycle. I know it well. I even lived in Georgia for a few years myself. I know that region is beautiful. It's also remarkably hard to get around. With the mountains and the winding roads, it's hard to get to the cities for good, high-paying jobs. How important is that for that district to find some decent, high-paying jobs?
You're exactly right. That is the key piece that I'm running on, is because Marjorie has done absolutely nothing here for the district in the last 3.5 years. That is her record. Where I'm working on right now, and will continue to work on, is bringing in high-paying generational jobs here to Georgia, or to Northwest Georgia. And when I say that, what I always like to say is use an example so people understand what I'm talking about. That's where, when we bring in high-paying generational jobs, that means that these jobs will pay you a livable rate wage. On top of that, use an example of Huntsville, Alabama. As you
Yeah.
know, Huntsville, Alabama, they're tied back to the defense industry and the space industry. What I plan to do, because we have people in our area that drive all the way to Huntsville and stay there during the week and
Mm.
ultimately come back here on the weekend. That's not the way to raise a family. So I want to work with the defense industry after all these 40 years of being in the service and see, is it any kind of way that I can bring any type plants here to our area so that our people, everybody that lives in Northwest Georgia, will have an opportunity to have a job for the next 60 plus years and make sure that they can take care of their families and be here when their kids playing football and softball and everything else during the week.
Yeah, and there's opportunities. I mean, I know there's some plants up around Dalton have gone in recently. There's some real opportunity. But by the same token, your district is also pretty rural, as you know. And I apologize, you are a grass-fed beef farmer. You are yourself a farmer. The district is pretty rural. So things like the farm bill. I mean, we talk about jobs, we talk about tech, but the farm bill pays a major, is a very important piece of the puzzle there for the district, both on the farm side, but also the SNAP and the benefits for people who need help with food, isn't it?
Yes, you're exactly right. When you look at our district, and the district that I'm running in today is not the same district that my predecessor Marcus ran in. The district, as you know, we got a brand new map. I think they get a brand new map every couple of years, but we got a brand new map, and this time we're rural, like you were talking about. But now we also have all of Paulding County and 1/3 of Cobb County, which is West Cobb. But when we start talking about the Farm Bill, it cuts across all of those particular counties. And what I mean by that, yes, I'm a farmer. Yes, I'm doing all these kind of things. But the Farm Bill addresses actually two or three different things. One, if we have a natural disaster or drought or something, it helps our farmers get back on their feet. As you know, less than 1% of the American people now are actually farmers. So we
Yeah.
need to make sure that we're encouraging farmers to stay in the business so we continue to feed our America and the rest of the world. But on top of that, like you mentioned, the SNAP program. That SNAP program, as you look at the economic stature of our district, we're not in the richest part of Georgia. We're in the prettiest part of Georgia, but we're not in the richest part of Georgia. So that means that we have children that are going to sleep at night hungry. Marjorie Taylor Greene does not support this farm bill, so we need to make sure, I will make sure that the farm bill is passed, not only to help my fellow farmers, but at the same time, it's going to make sure that every kid here in Northwest Georgia, if they need a hand up, and they can actually have some food through that SNAP program. So,
Yeah.
so that's where I'm at. When you say Shawn Harris, what I say to people, leadership matters. And when I look at Marjorie Taylor Greene, she does not have any leadership on any subjects. At the end of the day, one of the things she wants to do is just say no to everything. Where I am, I want to say yes. I want to get to yes. I want to bring things here to the district to make lives better for everybody across the board. Doesn't make any difference. You live on a farm like me, or you live in the city or downtown, Cobb somewhere where you have nothing but mall and great restaurants. We're all in the same district.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. It's one of the weird things I've been saying quite a bit lately about Republicans is they don't understand investment, right? I mean, for the party that says they're part of the business, when you talk about the SNAP program, you're investing in children's health and their food. When you talk about good paying jobs and that's an investment in the future and our families. And along the same lines is investing in healthcare. I mean, I do remember there was a real challenge of healthcare access in the district. And again, going back to that same thing, it is a tough mountainous district. It's hard to get places. It takes you. I mean, I think you're just 70 miles top to bottom. I mean, it's
It may
difficult
be
to get
more than that.
around.
I drive it all the time.
Yeah, it is big and it takes a long time. So what about healthcare? I mean, abortion. Now we're talking abortion acts. We're talking about veterans healthcare. We're talking about mental health care. Which is a huge crisis everywhere. How important that is to you as you talk to your potential constituents, your voters? I mean, is that driving a lot of your conversations as well?
That is driving all of my conversation.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, healthcare. When I discuss healthcare is super big, and I'll break it down to a couple different ways. One, I'll talk about healthcare for the civilian world, and when I break down the civilian world, I want to make sure that my senior brothers and sisters, my elders, know that I'm also talking about them. So I want to make sure that's up front. But now, when I talk about healthcare from a civilian point of view, I'll use Rome, Georgia as an example. Outstanding healthcare system, outstanding, outstanding, outstanding. However, if a lady's having a problem having a baby, they may not actually have the specialist there to address the issue. Hence, a helicopter got to take them to Atlanta, Georgia, or take them to Chattanooga, Tennessee. This is not a third world country. We don't live in a third world state. That means we should have great health care everywhere. The other piece that I would bring to your attention, when we go up north and get into our smaller rural districts, those districts or those counties, some of those counties don't even have a hospital. I call that a healthcare desert. It's one thing to have a hospital, it's another thing not to have a hospital. I want to make sure that every county has access to a hospital so that they're not having to drive 2 and 3 counties, or in their most of them cases, driving all the way from up north down to Rome, or they go up to Chattanooga, Tennessee to get the health care. The other piece that I'll touch just very quickly with our veterans, and then I'll touch mental health. Our veterans, as a veteran, I understand our programs. Our programs are doing well. However, anything that's doing well can always be improved. Here in Northwest Georgia, we have the clinic in Rome. The clinic in Rome does a great job. However, they understaffed, overworked. More than I think it's more than 400. I mean, more than 40,000 plus veterans that live in Northwest Georgia. That is a lot of veterans, and more are retiring, coming back. That means that we need more VA centers here in Northwest Georgia, because Shawn Harris, at 58 years old, I have to ask my wife why it's like age, but whatever it is, I can drive now to the VA in Atlanta, 6-lane highway, or Chattanooga. What happens when I'm 85 years old? That's where Shawn Harris is trying to fix, is that for our older veterans that have to have a grandkid or somebody to drive for them, that, or in worst case scenario, drive themselves to Atlanta. We need to bring this asset or benefits here. And then the last piece I'll touch on the veterans on is I'm fighting for veterans for benefits that you have already earned. I'm talking about not healthcare. I'm talking about benefits that you have already earned from Vietnam or Afghanistan or wherever you at. Cut through the red tape. Let's get you what you're supposed to have. We should not be giving you your benefits 3 days before you die. So that is the area. And then the last piece that touches across the board, as you know, not only here in Georgia, but throughout the United States, we have a mental health problem. And here in Northwest Georgia, because we don't actually have any mental health facilities per se, most people that actually have a mental health problem end up going to jail, and they in the sheriff's jail for the weekend, and then they let out, and unfortunately some go out and do some very bad things or commit suicide. So we need to make sure, I need to make sure that I'm working hard every day when I get to Congress to address these things across the board. And these are tangible things that we can get at, that if they make me, people vote for me and make me their representative, they will see very quickly the major difference between what Marjorie Taylor Greene has been doing for them for the last 3.5 years and what I will be doing for them within the first year of getting up there. I will work. I love to work. And that's what I'm going to do for.
And boy, that's been the challenge, right? Just getting into her district office. She even has one. It's not listed. It's just a real challenge. And I think people are hungry
exactly
for that,
right.
Right?
She does not have an office anywhere in the district. It's a post office box. So that tells you that your representative does not want to listen to you. If you know anything about leadership, a leader listens first. And when I become the representative, I plan to have 3 offices here in the district, so that you don't have to be driving a long ways. And when I say have 3 districts in the area, my ultimate goal is where you can come in and see my staff, but you can also come in and see the 2 senator staff, so that if you got an issue, need to talk to somebody, you're not driving all the way to one place. You can see all your representatives, all your senators, representatives, and get it all done.
Well, I could see why there's Republicans telling you they're going to vote for you too, because that's basic stuff. I mean, I think the difference, and then we'll wrap, is it's about being understanding that this position you're being entrusted with is a position of service to the people who elected you. And I think that's probably what your career has led you to, is that we serve. We don't. It's not us being serviced, right?
Right. And I would tell you, and I know we're getting close on time, but what I would tell you is just a few weeks ago, I was in Rome, Georgia at an event, and everybody that was at that event, 50 plus people, were all Republicans. And I usually don't tell this story, but I think this story is very important now in this moment of time, is that Republicans are getting behind me. Republicans are saying, wait a minute, as our representative, we have to hold people accountable. And that they're starting to realize that Marjorie Taylor Greene has not done one thing from economics to anything across the board for them. It's not about voting no on bills. It's about actually writing bills and getting them actually passed into law so that we can actually bring benefits here to Northwest Georgia.
Well, that's service. So, most important question I ask everybody who comes on the show in the hot seat: where can folks support you? Can they give you some money? The Midas Mighty are pretty good about supporting our candidates when we bring them on here. That's look. We get it. You know, she's got a war chest. She's a MAGA darling. How can we help you, Shawn, in this very tough fight?
I would tell you that the first thing I always tell everybody: pray for me, pray for my family, because when you're going against Marjorie Taylor Greene, every day this thing going to get ugly, and even more ugly. But that's okay. My wife and I, Karla, we have lived a life of service, so that's what we're going to do. But for people to support me, I just ask them to go to my page. That's ShawnForGeorgia.com, and on that page is a link that you can donate some money. When I say donate some money, I don't want people to go broke. Okay, I don't want people to go broke. I want you to give what you can give. I'm going to say thank you. I don't care if it's $2 or $2,000. Whatever you give, that is fine, because what we're doing is we're being smart about how we spending the money. I don't have to have the $10 million to beat Marjorie Taylor Greene. I need to be able to communicate to the people on the ground, because at the end of the day, Democrats, independents, and Republicans are actually the ones that's going to go in there and vote. And that's what I need to make sure I got the money to make sure I can communicate directly to them, that we can actually go out and vote. And then the last thing I'll say, elections about turnout. Any type money that I can raise so that I can get people on the ground to knock on doors and make sure that people actually go and vote on election day. But here in Georgia, election day is coming real soon. We talk about November, but really it starts in October. So it's just right around the corner.
Sneaking up on us. Well, Shawn,
Real
good luck,
quick.
man. I'm thrilled to meet you. I can't wish you honestly, like I said, I love the district. I spent so much good time there. It's just full of wonderful people, and it's a beautiful place. So wish you the best of luck, and keep in touch.
Well, hey, I appreciate you, and thank you for all your support.
Man, great conversation. I mean, I've told you guys, I held Marcus Flowers last cycle. I know Georgia 14 very well. I know Marjorie Taylor Greene very well, and it's great to see such a dedicated public servant taking on the task of running against her. So definitely go to his website. We'll have it in the blurb here, right here on screen. Give him a support if he needs it. He's going to need it. It's a tough year, but we got the right people in the race. I hope you enjoyed yet another In the Hot Seat with FP Wellman. We enjoy doing this. There'll be more coming. I got a couple more interviews scheduled just this week. As always, I'm Fred Wellman, host of On Democracy, the FP Wellman, right here in the MeidasTouch Network. Catch new shows every Friday night at 11 p.m. And I'll be at the DNC in the next 2 weeks. So make sure you look for new content on all of our channels and social media channels. See what's going on at the DNC. We'll talk to you soon.